Welcome to another episode of Reddit Stories, but I read them myself. Today we have, which Mandela Effect freaks you out the most and why? Just had one personally. Went to a mall where there was supposedly a gym. Asked around and nobody that worked at the mall knew what I was talking about. Looked around and couldn't find it. Come back a few months later and it's right there in front of my face. You'd have to be strung out to not notice it. I don't know how or when it just appeared, but it freaked me out. That would freak me out as well. That the Fruit of the Loom logo never had a cornucopia. What's crazy about that one is that someone emailed the creator of the logo about it and he said even he remembers it having one. Wow. I Mandela affected my whole family once. Years ago there was a football player on a rival team that always did a dumb celebration after he got a sack, and my family and I always hated it. One night after he did it, my family started trashing the celebration, and I said as a joke, we are all going to feel terrible when we find out he is doing that celebration as a request from a Make-A-Wish kid. Fast forward to years later, and our team is playing that team again. The player got a sack and did the celebration. I rolled my eyes and said, I hate that celebration so much. My mom instantly turned and said, don't say that, he is doing it for a sick kid. I actually like it. So I was like, what? No, there is no sick kid. My whole family then proceeded to argue with me. They all vividly remembered reading articles about it and seeing special report segments before games about it and other information. Some of them even thought they knew the disease the kid had and even extra details about why the kid chose that specific celebration. They all had these shared memories that they were sure were true. I was floored by all this and insisted none of that was true. So we looked it up. Not true. No kid like that ever existed. They still have trouble wrapping their heads around this one. Turned out human memory is not near as reliable as we think. That was insane. Mr. Monopoly's monocle. Yeah, that one is like really trippy. So apparently he doesn't have a monocle, but I remember him having one. I have a personal one that to this day, a decade later, still fucking destroys my mind. I had an oldish 2001 Dodge Neon with black seats. I drove this car for years and years, like 80,000 miles, all through college. I took work breaks in my car, commuted hours every day total to college, and then the opposite direction to work and back. I even lived out of this thing on several occasions. The day I go and trade it in, I'm pulling miscellaneous things out of the car at the dealer, and the seats are green. Not even a little, like very unmistakably green. And my black Neon with black interior that always had black seats. My girlfriend then, wife now, goes, oh, they've always been green. Except they fucking weren't, don't lie to me. This is still upsetting to this day. Life is a lie and nothing is real. I don't even know what to say about that one. Not a global one, just a family thing. Back in 2002, my grandma had her 60th birthday. My father took us home at 10 p.m., ready for bed. We, me and my brother, were 12 and 14 at this time. All went well. Over the years, a story was made up. Nelson, that we went missing after visiting the local playground after dinner at said grandma's birthday party. Some neighbors helped to search us, the whole train of missing children in a small village. Fun fact, we never went missing. My dad brought us home, put on Toy Story on TV and left. My brother and I heard first about this in 2015 from different people on different occasions. Ah, you're one of those missing boys. I first thought that they were mocking me for a different event. I got lost. But it was 2013, alcohol inflicted, different story. But then they all tell us the same story about us going missing. And the stories are damn close to true. In every story, my mom is driving around the same neighbors to different locations to search. Old wine yard, old mill, etc. Sometimes I think I got lost on the most brutal way. I was lost and changed this plane of existence with another one. It sometimes made me think about my whole life. Ooh, just reminded me of this one today. When I got a job in a different city, very first day on the job, very first day in new city, I had no idea what to do for lunch, except that I knew I wanted to go out and see what new city had to offer. Driving along, I saw a big boy statue, a cartoony boy holding a big burger over his head. Simpsons Halloween special did a parody on it, except he was holding a donut. Anyway, I see this big boy statue and knew this was the place I was looking for. This is where I was eating. A tiny burger shack that looked like it literally hadn't had any work done since the 70s, called Sonny's, and it was amazing. I ate at this place a few times in my first few months living here. I always knew exactly where it was because you could see this 10 meters tall statue from various directions. Eventually the office moved to a different part of town and I stopped going. I found out a few months ago that it was being sold. What's going to happen to the Burger Boy statue? I asked someone. What statue? They replied. Turns out there's no statue there. A few people say they remember it. Maybe it was across the street or in front of a different store. They muse, trying to remember specific details. Most people say they've lived in the area for quite a while and are certain there was never a statue. I've used Google Street View looking at historic images from years ago, and as far as I can tell, it never existed. So why is my memory of this giant boy holding a burger over his head leading me towards deliciousness so strong? The fact that it's Febreze and not Febreze gets me. Yeah, same here. Take my strong hand from the Scary Movie franchise. I know he said it. Me and my friends would quote it at each other during school. Multiple other friends have the same memories but went to different schools, so I know it's not just my friendship group that got it wrong. Fruit Loops changed to Fruit Loops, then back to Fruit Loops. Not a huge one, but it's solely a family thing. At the age of 7, we went to my grandparents' house to celebrate his 70th birthday. And it was fun. I remember hanging out in his room and he was in his wheelchair. He had his hair combed and he looked pretty nice. He was wearing a button-down shirt. He asked me, "How old do you think I'm turning?" And I answered 50, and he laughed. We celebrated his birthday and it was nice. I remember the 70th birthday candles. Fast forward a few years, I'm 12, and he goes peacefully with my family around him. We go to his funeral and we pay our respects. We all cried for my grandpa, who died at the age of 69, 5 years and a few months after his 70th birthday. Whoa. I'm not sure about anyone else, but I swear I remember Pikachu having black detailing on the tip of its tail. And so did I. This is new to me. This is new information. I remember when I was 14/15 or so, there was a massive piano store at the mall I went to with my friends. At one point we visited the piano store and played around on them, and the sales rep noticed that my friend actually played the piano well and let him play on some $250,000 grand piano. We went back 2 weeks later and it was gone. No storefront, no map waypoint, nothing. Fucks with me to this day. See, I don't understand how a whole store can just disappear. I tell the story every time. When I was about 13 or 14 years old, we got a new girl in class mid-year. This was in Europe, where most secondary schools have a fixed class and not a course-based system. So the people you see on the first day of school are the same you see during every lesson until you leave school. No changing classes or rooms. Every class is mandatory, except for religion/ethics. We were about 25 kids, so no way to lose track of your classmates. New kid comes in, has a small friend circle within a few weeks. Teacher told us on day 1 that she will only be here for a limited time, either checking out the schools or while she moves or something unusual. So her friend circle pretty much completely overlapped with mine and we chatted a bit, and I remember being there while she chatted with others of that group. After about 2 months, she left and never returned. No one remembers her except me. I remember her roundish face, her brown hair that went slightly below her chin and was super chaotic. I remember that she was a tiny bit smaller than one of my best friends, and I definitely remember her extremely irritating voice. The pitch, the cracks in her voice, her nasal way to speak. I also remember her first and last name, and yet no one seems to remember her. Neither Google, nor Facebook, nor Instagram, or anything on the internet helps me find her. Even our class teacher, same for 5 years, does not remember her. I'm still getting chills vividly remembering her. That's why my personal Mandela Effect. I remember a girl that went to class with us and no one else remembers her. I can't be the only one that thought Shaggy from Scooby-Doo had an Adam's apple. He never did. Wow, these were some pretty good ones. I appreciate all of you watching, and if you made it this far in the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.